Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. This is your home for fresh and organic artisanal Bible study that's responsibly handled and prepared fresh daily just for you. Today we're looking at Psalm 112, and we're going to read verses 3 and 4. Now, yesterday we started off talking about the blessed man. He sets up for us, the psalmist does, the blessed man. Now, he's going to tell us what he's like and why. Basically, he's going to describe the blessing. So why is this man blessed? Well, because he greatly delights in the commandments of the Lord, and he fears the Lord. So he's going to do what the Lord, asks of him to do. He's going to be a follower. He's going to be a disciple. So the very first thing it says is his seed, his generation shall be blessed as well. So the generations that follow this man, there's going to be a blessing for them. That's number one. So now we're describing the blessing. His seed is blessed. You look at verses 3 and 4 today, and let me just go ahead and read those, and I'll make my comment here. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endures forever. Unto the upright there arises light in the darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous. Verse 3 tells us that wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endures forever. But the wealth and the riches, let's not get caught up on that. A lot of people get caught up on that. And you've got a lot of prosperity gospelers out there that'll take that and just talk about how it's not right for a Christian to be poor, to not have. And, that's not what we're talking about here. The wealth and the riches come from the fear of the Lord. It's not that we have gold in our pockets. It's that we have the Spirit of God in our hearts. We're fearing God. Therefore, wisdom is in our way. Righteousness is in our way. Knowledge and understanding is in our way. That's the wealth and the riches. And because of that, there may be some things that come to us in this life, but we can't depend on that. We can't depend on the gold and the silver and all the perks that go along with it, because that's what the world loves. The wealth and the riches, that the church loves is not what the world loves. The world loves the gold and the silver, but the church loves the wisdom and the righteousness and the godliness and the purity and the chastity and the sanctity and all the rest of those things. Those are the good things. That's where the wealth really lies. His righteousness endures forever. And you see, in the parallel of the verse, wealth and riches shall be in his house, his righteousness. Well, that describes the wealth and the riches, doesn't it? The wealth and the riches is described by the next word in the couplet, righteousness. It endures forever. Why is that? Because it's not his righteousness. This is imputed righteousness. This is righteousness that the Lord gives. And so because he fears the Lord has given to him his righteousness. Of course, this happens in Christ. There's a transfer there. Because we have no righteousness, he gives us his. And then notice verse 4, unto the upright there arises light in the darkness. See, the darkness here is trouble. There's trouble that jumps up here. And, of course, there's always trouble in this life. This life is filled with trouble. But there's light that arises in the darkness for the upright, just like in the plague of darkness in Egypt. Remember that? One of the plagues in Egypt was thick darkness, so thick you could feel it. But in the house of the Jews, there was light. But in the Egyptians' homes, there was no light. So it's the same thing here. God's people, there's light for them. In trouble, there's always light. Because why? Because he delights greatly in the commandments of the Lord. And that's where light comes from. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous. Now this compares directly over to, verse 4 in Psalm 111. And in Psalm 111 and verse 4 it says, he has made his wonderful works to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion. Here in verse 4 in Psalm 12, unto the upright there arises light in the darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous. very much the same, isn't it? Why is that? It's because the character of the Lord that he fears now is shining through the man that fears him and delights in his commandments. You see, there's a translation that's happening here. He's gone from an old man to a new man, and now that new man is created in righteousness, and that new man reflects the righteousness and the compassion and the grace of God. Yeah, so you see now how this blessed man is becoming more and more like the Lord that we studied last week in Psalm 111. Okay, well, join me again tomorrow, and we'll look at verses 5 and 6 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.